Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. We got to get another Nick Shell pep talk about hair loss. Oh yeah, that's what I'm here for. Oh yeah. February 20th, Lifetime Network. This time next year, you're gonna see this guy. Try to meet this guy. See, that's one of my soft announcements. I've got my official announcement coming soon. All right, here's the deal. You want your pep talk about hair loss today? Because this isn't a hair loss channel. It's a channel to help younger men boost their confidence internally without relying on hair. Here's what it's come down to. You know, in the past I've said that most people by default allow themselves to think like a victim instead of choosing to be victorious. That's one of the things I've been saying for years now on this channel. Check out this new version of that, maybe the updated version for 2018. I think in order to overcome your hair loss mentally, psychologically, I think most people that at least show up on my channel to begin with and start out, they're scared. That's the default, is that they're scared. And where I try to get you is, and check this out, I try to take you from being scared to apathetic about your hair loss. From scared to apathetic. You know, it's funny, certain opposite things don't quite sound like, okay, short, tall, that one makes sense. Black, white, that makes sense, right? Heaven, hell, okay, opposites. You know, but there's a band, one of my favorites, the Lumineers, and they have this line in a song that says something like, the opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference. So that's kind of what inspired this. I thought, you know, so many guys are afraid, they're fearful, they're scared of losing their hair, and most of the people who are the most scared are younger. They're between like ages 15 and 19. They're the most afraid because in theory they've got the most to lose, yet most of them aren't going to be the ones really losing hair. They're just seeing the first signs of hair loss, or even just maturing hairline. I mean, even just this going back a little bit compared to when you're 10 years old. I mean, I think my hairline was like this when I was 10. But imagine this. What if you think, okay, all right, Nick, I'll give you that. I am scared. I'm afraid. I'm afraid I'm going to lose my hair. That's why I'm watching your channel. Help me out, Nick. Okay, well, here's what I would throw back at you. I'd say, when you see me as a confident man, despite any hair loss that may or may not occur for the rest of my life, here's what I'm going to say. I got to the point of apathy. Do you know what apathy means? It means you don't care. Okay, so imagine this. For anyone that could be perceived, okay, politics for me. You know I've said this. I don't care about politics. Did you vote for Donald Trump? Did you vote for Hillary Clinton? I don't care. I don't care which one of them won. I wasn't going to be happier either way which one. I'm apathetic toward politics because I believe that people who end up in high-ranking positions like that are ultimately just feeding an agenda of most people who are just blind sheep, and they choose one side and they stick with it. So then that politician has to give that side whatever they want. And then what we're left with is not what most people actually want, right? So I'm apathetic. It's not that I do or don't like Donald Trump or do or don't like Hillary Clinton. I'm apathetic toward politics, just like I'm apathetic toward sports. Who cares? It doesn't matter who wins. Just so you can know some stats and tell another guy in the office or at school or whatever, hey, did you see the game? Yeah, they won. Okay. Why is it? Hey, did you see that player that traded? Why does that matter? Who cares? I'm apathetic. I don't care who wins the game. I don't care who wins the election. I'm living my own life. I'm apathetic towards those things. And I want to challenge you with the thought that if you feel afraid about losing your hair, the ultimate goal, I always say it's about being confident, that confidence can override hair loss if you allow it. Maybe take it to the next level and say, maybe I could swap out the word confidence for apathy. Because if you truly didn't care about your hair, then by default, that's confidence. If you don't depend on your hair to be seen as an attractive person, then that's kind of, just like that video I made last week called, it said something like, faking confidence is the same thing as actually having it. And it's kind of like that. If only you could unplug and stop associating people's perspective of you that you are attractive or liked because of your hair, like I have. And then what's funny is then I still have my hair after I got through all that, then I still have this much hair. It's interesting, but that's what I want to throw at you. That ultimately, if you're afraid, Make your goal apathy. Because when you don't care about things that don't matter, they don't affect you anymore. Just yesterday, there was an old episode of Full House on, and it was the one where Steve Urkel happens to be there when Stephanie Tanner gets her glasses. And so he's giving her advice, her Uncle Joe is giving her advice, and they're basically telling her, you gotta beat them to the punchline, you know? If you're already aware of that thing, then when other people bring it up, it's not gonna bother you. And then it was kind of like that thing. But it's basically, be apathetic about the thing that bothers you, then it can't bother you anymore. And I think this goes for most things. Forget about hair loss. If something's bothering you, imagine if you could get to the point where it doesn't bother you anymore. Imagine what power you'd have over your life if you simply didn't allow annoying things or troublesome things to bother you anymore. If you could get to that point in your brain, which is where I've got. And I've said it before in this channel, but it's not like, you know, I only worried about my hair loss actually probably around age 20, 21, because I thought, am I gonna be completely bald by 25? So I can understand if you are that age and you're feeling that way. I totally understand. But at the same time, it's so interesting that during the same time, I was going through greater fears than that. My actual fears that were even bigger than that, I was insecure that I was only 5'9", and other guys were already over 6 foot, and I knew that I was never gonna be taller than 5'9". I guess I was like nervous that like, oh no, what if I end up not meeting a good girl, not getting married, you know, because that mattered to me. Some of you maybe care less, right? But for me, it mattered to me. I thought, I want to see myself having a stable future. I want to marry the right girl, which I did. You know, those were things that consumed my thoughts. The hair loss, I thought about it. And if I were you right now, or if I were me back then, I'd be watching my own video right now, probably. But then I'd stop watching. Like, okay, yeah, he's got a good point. If you're just apathetic about it, knowing that most men of European descent lose their hair anyway, then yeah, why am I putting stock in this anyway? I should care about things that actually matter, like making sure that I definitely finish my college degree, because for a while I was kind of on the fence. Am I going to finish going to college? Yes, you're going to finish going to college, because once you get into the real world, you realize, man, your skill set in education is what really actually makes you attractive and effective in the world. Who cares about the hair? In fact, men that depend on their hair but don't have the other stuff, they're probably got more to lose in life, even if they keep all their hair. So think of it this way. Instead of being afraid, be apathetic. Get to the point where you can be apathetic, and by default, you'll find yourself being confident. Hey, speaking of my wife, there she is.